Welcome back to the third and final segment of Prophetic Insight, and the studio is overflowing with revelation. If you're joining us for the first time, we were looking at the prophecy given by the prophet of God, Emmanuel Makandiwa, on forced amnesty, where the South African government has been forced, due to the economic situations, to eject Zimbabwean prisoners in South Africa back to Zimbabwe. Gentlemen, before the break, I was just thinking, the man of God pointed out something very significant. He said that the government in South Africa will soon sit down and begin to make plans to eject these prisoners. I think that in itself is profound, because the man of God was present in a meeting that had not taken place yet.
Exactly.
How does that happen unless you are operating in the office of a prophet?
Man of God, I think that's one of the issues that continue to boggle my mind concerning the prophetic.
Yes.
Man of God is ever present. Like, I don't know. But to say he's there in the meeting, which has not taken place, on its own, it speaks volumes concerning the prophetic. And not only did he say he was there in that meeting, but also that there is a word that he used. He said, they are going to drop your prisoners. I listened to that statement twice. Your prisoners. And I said, who is now speaking here?
Yes.
The prophet is saying, your prisoners. I thought he was going to say, our prisoners. Because I thought he should be a Zimbabwean. But then I understood that we should know that the spirit of a prophet has no nationality. And this is the voice of God that is speaking through the man. And this is God speaking. And God is now telling us that South Africa is going to release your, as Zimbabwe, your prisoners. And it reminds me exactly, like in the book of Exodus, when the children of Israel had decided to make up an idol of gold, when Aaron had remained with them and Moses was in the mountain. Yes. And God said to Moses, your people have sinned against me. Now it was God saying, your people. He didn't say my people. He said, your people. So in the same manner, the prophet of God is saying, your people, meaning Zimbabweans.
Yes.
Your people are going to be released. And this is now God speaking through his friend, the prophet of God, the prophet Imam.
And then he adds on and he says, they're going to be released murderers and killers. Yeah. Some of these guys who've performed crimes of killing 20, some of them even 30 individuals. That is mind-boggling. How do you allow a serial, by the time you get to 20, you're a serial killer, to roam free in the streets?
Sure.
And then he goes on to say, and we will know no peace. Pastor, he says we now.
We, yes.
But then he had said, your people.
Yes.
I mean, the man of God, it's almost like he's present in the future. He's present here. He's present in another dimension, speaking from the voice of God. And he's also present in and amongst us here. And he's saying, we will know no peace. It's tragic and it's serious.
I think that's a serious statement, man of God. When he said, we will know no peace, that statement, it seems like it doesn't have an end. Because he didn't give a time frame where then peace is going to be restored. He just said, then we will know no peace. So as it is, it only requires us as Zimbabweans, with the authorities, that we seek from God through his friend, the prophet of God, so that we get to know. Because I don't think there is anyone here who would want to see this situation continue unabated. We need to get to a point where we say, please, God, we have sinned by not obeying, by not taking heed of your word. But forgive us. We have repented of our sins as a nation, because we can't continue with sewage in our streets. We can't continue with all these things that are now going to happen. Because that statement, to me, is not good at all, man of God. I don't know.
Never.
Yeah.
You just mentioned the issue that a true prophet has no nationality, or he cannot be limited by national boundaries. And this is very, very profound, and it's so true, because the prophet himself, like Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, is a nation. Yeah, that's why he can say they will release your prisoners, because he himself is a nation, is a location, is a place whereby I can be pursued by the devil, but I can find refuge in a prophet, because if I make him my personal prophet, then it means I'm safe. And we can only encourage that all authorities, whether be it in business, be it in politics, be it in government, all these areas, should they make a true prophet their own prophet, then it means they are safe. Because I say he's a nation because he goes on to say, then you will know that I was not guessing. But then you will know that I was not guessing. And just to add on to what he said, he even says, then the people who were supposed to have come together to talk about this thing when he first prophesied it, will then sit down to try and rectify this problem, but then it will be too late. These are clear prophecies. Can you imagine? You can be told that, you see, this guy is going to do A, B, C, D, and he thinks I'm guessing, but after he's already committed that which the prophet said don't, then he will remember the prophet, and then it will be too late for him. We don't want such a situation.
Man of God, how do you listen to the prophet say words like that? To say that they will then sit down and do what I told them to do. After openly denying and almost speaking blasphemous against the prophet of God, and saying these words are not true. He's using common sense. Oh, well, the situation is bad in the nation. So then that will translate to more prisoners. But then when you get to a point where you have no choice but to take the advice of a prophet, we need to open our eyes.
It happens. It happens.
We need to open our eyes. It's there before us.
Some people somewhere said, now we know that he was the Son of God. But what had happened, they had already killed him. Then they say, now we know.
It's too late.
It's too late.
And the prophet of God said that it will be too late when they sit down. Men of God, just as you are saying, the men of God said, by the time they sit down, it will be too late.
Yes.
I think this statement that the prophet just said, it actually brings out the fear that has always been with me, that more often than not, policies that we make in different nations, they are more reactionary than being proactive. We react to a situation. It's panic solutions, panic decisions. But here we are told well in time to prepare. And listen here, the prophet is even seeing the meetings that they are going to have before they even have those meetings. And he even sees that those meetings are going to be late. And so whatever is going to be discussed there is late because the decisions are panic decisions. They will not bring a conclusive solution to what the prophet is just prophesied to. So I think, like my brother was saying, we need to take heed. When a prophet of God speaks, I have come to understand we can doubt other people. We can mock other people. But let's be sure, before we begin to comment, let's be sure about the men that we are commenting against. We should not be fooled by the flesh. Let's watch what he says. And if what he says does not come to pass, like my brother earlier on said, don't fear that kind of a prophet. But if what he says comes to pass, like what has happened here, then we have every reason to take it. Maybe God will give us a second chance. We don't know. But This is where we are. Yes.
And if we have a man of God like this, who hears from God and who prophesies with such pinpoint accuracy, we need to listen.
You sure?
We need to take heed. You go in the newspapers and there are stories. 18 murders in a week. A record high. The police have actually said it's an alarming, concerning number.
Yes.
From all the statistics they've gone through in the years that we've been as a government. These are the most alarming numbers. 18 murders
Just imagine.
in 10 days.
Yes. Yeah.
In the streets.
Yeah.
In the streets.
And if that river keeps on flowing, these stats are,
Are
going
only
to
going
escalate.
to escalate.
Yes, they actually increase. And many reports like here on the internet, the Herald, the Zimbabwe Daily. I know, Pastor, I saw you checking on the Herald.
Yeah, I've got an article here from the Herald dated the 4th of April, 2016. And this is what the chief police spokesperson had to say concerning the scenario that is obtaining right now. The senior assistant commissioner, Charity Charamba, today, that is the 4th of April 2016, urged people to solve disputes amicably. And I quote, Zimbabwe Republic Police has noted with concern the recent occurrence of murder and armed robbery cases throughout the country. And she alluded to the fact that these cases that are obtaining in the nation currently, they are not like centered in one city, in one place, but it's almost across all provinces. And here the article actually mentions that in Midlands province, in Matabeleland South, in Bulawayo Metropolitan, in Mashonaland West, Mashonaland East, and this, like you are saying, this just happened in a space of 10 days. And if this can be recorded almost across the provinces of the nation in 10 days, how much more in a month, in 2 months, 6 months, a year, what we will be talking about. So it means there is something wrong that is going on already, and we need to take action as a nation.
Pastor, I think our viewers need to know the severity of the issue.
Yeah.
Even the man of God says, if you don't have prophetic eyes to see, you'll underestimate the kind of consequences that are to be faced.
Yes.
And these consequences are severe. We've got newspaper reports. We've got internet articles that are telling us of the severity of the situation right now. And as Pastor Koramba said, if it's only 10 days and we have 18 people dying, and we are saying this river is going to continue flowing, we can only imagine the kind of catastrophic effect that this sewage is bringing to our nation. Pastor Koramba.
And also coming to the newspaper reports, internet accounts that have been written, probably the writers of the articles never heard about the prophecy that the man of God, Prophet Imam Makantiwa, had earlier given. But not really saying they never heard, but because they're the same people who were taking responses from people and bringing them out in the same newspapers and same internet sites when they were saying people are being fired from their work. What else can they do besides crime?
Yes.
So reporting about the increase in crime and then it's attributed to drug abuse, domestic disputes, and that, fine, it's happening, but I'm sure all these moral and social vices have been in existence before prisoners were released from South Africa. So writing a full account, probably, and not mentioning the prophets, it goes back to that issue that I said, you can't fully benefit from the prophetic word of Prophet Emmanuel Makantiwa or another true prophet without acknowledging what the prophecy had forewarned you with. Remember, men love dominion. And in Genesis 1:26, God spoke about dominion. And man is a product of prophecy. we are a product of prophets because God said, let us make men before actually creating men. So we love the prophetic voice. People have got different sources of that particular word to tell them about the future. But that's the hunger still. It's because man is a product of prophecy. And for you to have dominion, you need somebody to preempt the future. And this is exactly what Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa did to the whole of Zimbabwe. So for us to have taken charge of this situation, which is dominion, for us to have dominated this situation, we were supposed to listen and to take heed and to take action upon the prophets that Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa had given. Had we done that, we'll be talking about a different story now.
Gentlemen, just a question out there. So with the way things are now, what's the way forward?
Man of God, I think, like I said earlier on, it now requires us as a nation. From what I am seeing the prophet of God doing, Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, he is not reading from a book. He is not coming from any website, what he is saying. So it means as much as we are educated, and Zimbabweans, we are known for that, we are really educated. But with all our education, look at where we are. The vices that are occurring in our society, problems that we are seeing every day. So what it means is education, as much as it can bring some positive, tangible results, but to some extent, it looks it has failed us. Why don't we give a try as a nation and give an ear to what God is saying?
Yes.
This is a moment where we need to say, okay, we have tried this policy, we have tried that policy, we have put this action and that action, but it has solved nothing. Why not give an ear to the supernatural and allow God, the creator of the universe, to give us direction, to give us that guidance, and we'll never be lost. And I think that's all what we need now. We can never be cleverer than God himself. He is our creator. No matter how we try to run away from him, we have to come back to him again. The same way that we are not running away from death is the same way. We will never get to a position of freedom, economic, political, social, for as long as God is not involved in our affairs. We will never. We need God. Let's listen to God.
I think the way forward would be to provoke the Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, because as we were discussing, we brought out other pointers, like he's not exhausted, that he doesn't say everything that God tells him. So it means even this particular prophecy is just a summary. So at times as a nation, if the people who are in charge, the authorities, would, because this was given publicly in church, and then later on a small group, I think if they come before the prophet and ask for advice, he's God, the same God that gave him this particular information in the prophetic, he has got a solution for us, because he himself, Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, is the solution that God has given to the nation of Zimbabwe. But if we want to try other means, we are only making our journey in the wilderness longer. Remember, Israel was not supposed to be in Egypt for 430 years. That's so.
Yes.
So it was supposed to be 400 years or so. But then they stayed there for all these other extra years, because there was no deliverer. But this is a different case. We have the deliverer with us. Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa is the solution. Yes.
So viewers, you've heard it for yourselves here on Prophetic Insight. We could go on and on and on to dive in and explore in more detail this prophecy, but we couldn't possibly do that. So I just want to thank our panelist, Pastor Keta. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And Pastor Koramba, Thank you so much for
you
the
so
deep
much.
insight.
Yeah, pleasure.
Viewers, continue to listen to the word of Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, sent to us from God to deliver the nation, and not only the nation, but the whole world. See you next time, and keep watching Christ TV.